Comedy is a universal language, something that we can all relate to. William Shakespeare once said, "The world is a stage." John then said, "It's a great stage for comedy because everything's hilarious." I love comedy. I like to think that life is a comedy. It's one of the other stories are either tragedies or they're comedies. I like to believe that we all live one big comedy and everything's hilarious. But don't just take my word for it. A lot of people think about that. Because you can't go through your whole life thinking that everything's going to be terrible. You're going to have to worry about what's going to happen the next day. Because then you can just laugh at the day that happened before. The only tragedy is if you don't learn anything from your actions. Comedy illustrates that excellently. The first piece here is Jerry Seinfeld from the show Seinfeld. It's multiple monologues I'll be speaking about here. Now there's no way that moving in with your parents is a sign that you're doing all right. There is no way that you can make that sound okay. I've got a great girl. Oh, she's beautiful. I love her. I'm making lots of money, and if everything goes all right, I'll be moving back in with my parents soon. No, see, you can't. It's never an okay thing. It's like getting busted on parole violation, getting thrown back into the slammer. In the opinion of the board, you need to further your rehabilitation. That's what it's saying when you go live back with your parents. Now, you feel so huge when you're back at home. It's like you can take your bed and crush it with your hands. You can hold your parents between your fingers. And you know what? Why are some people so afraid of growing up anyways? It's my opinion that we never should have landed on the moon. It's a mistake. Big mistake. Now, everything is compared to that one accomplishment. Now, everybody goes, "I can't believe we landed on the moon." Tastes my coffee. Not as good, right? Think we can get on the moon, but we can't get a cup of coffee right? My good God. I think that we could all be a lot happier if we hadn't landed on the moon. Then we'd go, they can't make a prescription bottle cap that's easy to take off? Makes sense, we couldn't even land on the moon. Things make perfect sense to me now. Neil Armstrong should have said, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for every whining, crying, complaining sad sack on the face of the earth." The whole object of comedy is to be yourself. And the closer you get to that, the funnier you'll be. My parents live in Florida now. And they moved there last year. They didn't want to move to Florida. But they're in their 60s, so it's the law. You know how it works, though. You have the leisure police that come in. White pants, white shoes, white shirt, white tie. And they jump out of their little golf cart. "Pops, put down the shovel!" We're going to Florida. The bad thing about television these days is that everyone you see on television is doing something that you'd like to be doing, and you're not doing it. You never see anybody on TV sitting on a couch with potato chips all over their face, crumbs, an old shirt, and grease stains. You never see that on television. But for example, like the soda commercials. Where do they summon this enthusiasm? Have you seen them? We have soda. We have soda. Good Lord, soda. They're jumping, they're laughing, they're flying in the air. It's a can of soda. When you stand there, you're looking at TV and you go, maybe I just have too much ice. Every time somebody recommends a doctor, he's always the best. You know what? See my doctor. He's the best. The best doctor. Oh my gosh. Please, you have to see my doctor sometime. What are you trying to tell people? To see your doctor? Are they concerned for your health, or you're just there for a chat? I'm not really sure anymore. They can't all be the best, by the way. There has to be some lower grade of doctors somewhere in the country. Where are we hiding these doctors? What I want to know. Some had to graduate at the bottom of the class. Somewhere someone's saying to their friend, "Oh, you should see my doctor. He's the worst. Literally, the worst doctor you will ever meet in your life. If you have a problem, he will make it worse. Trust me on this." And what's the whole comment about, don't forget to mention my name. Just drop my name in there. What's he gonna do? Give you real medicine? Oh, I'm gonna give you real medicine this time. Other people, I'm just handing Tic Tacs. I mean, seriously, the man's a butcher. You gotta be careful. Jerry Seinfeld. I love comedy. I love laughing. I love being funny. I'm not saying I'm funny. I'm not full of myself. But I like making people laugh. I like making people smile. And it's an art that you have to perfect over a long time. And I'm not saying I've perfected it, but I'm pretty good at making people smile. And it's taken me a long time to kind of understand different kinds of comedy that you can do and can't do in the crowds that you're speaking to. And one of them is high-profile celebrities. People like Chris Rock. In my next piece here, I'm going to be doing Chris Rock's monologue from SNL a while ago, which I have changed because I don't feel comfortable making black jokes. What's up? It's good to be back! I live here, so I guess it's not good to be back. You know what? It's good to be back. It's my alma mater. I tell that to everybody. Makes them feel special. You know, this is where it all started, you know. I've been doing a lot of things the past couple of years. Commercials, movies, stand-up. Oh, you know what makes me most happy? Stand-up. I love telling stand-up. You know, you're on the road, you're going on tour, checking out America. Oh, but there is no more America. Remember when you were a kid? There'd be an America. You go see your grandma, you go to her little town. There are no more little towns! It's our malls! And they're all the same. The mall in St. Louis is the same in Detroit. Same crap. You got Banana Republic, you got the Chess Kings, you got the Sunglasses Hut, all the same crap! You know what? We got a big election coming up pretty soon here. Who's gonna win? Bill or Bob? Does it really matter? Is there anything you can't do on a Wednesday after you decided to vote and the vote didn't come out the right way? Well, I guess the A train ain't running, the old one. You know, nothing. There's nothing you can't do. And I like Clinton, by the way. You know why I like Clinton? Because he's got real problems. Yeah, he got real problems. No, he don't got president problems. He got real problems, like you and me. He's running out of money. His wife's a pain in the butt. His friends are all going to jail. I like Bill Clinton because I am Bill Clinton. And everyone's always second guessing him. Really? What are they trying to catch him on? Sexual harassment? What is sexual harassment anyways? You know another thing. They've been trying to get Clinton on the gays in the military situation. Everybody's all homophobic. Oh, don't let them in. Hey, if they want to fight, let them, because I ain't gonna do it. I don't care if there's a Russian tank coming down Flatbush Avenue. I'll go back inside. I'm gonna watch Jerry Seinfeld for a couple hours. Chris Rock. One of my favorite comedians. He can really bring a crowd all together. Sometimes he can make you really uncomfortable and then make you laugh at it, which is another thing that I really like. You know, comedy's developed over the years. It's become very different. And it's had a long time to change because we've been telling jokes for hundreds of years. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Canoe. Canoe, open the door for me. It's awfully cold outside. We've come a long way from those jokes, the jokes that we tell today. I don't know how many of you in here watch stand-up, but I can tell you I have wasted more of my life watching stand-up than breathing. So, with that being said, we're going to take a little bit of a trip back, and this piece is by Subrat Managaraj. It is very interesting. It dates back what comedy has been, what it is now. Aristotle specified two types of drama: comedy and tragedy. While his ideas of tragedy has permanent significance in our lives, comedy is often tended to develop new dimensions unknown to him. Aristotle's comedy was a type of drama which represented men as worse than average. Now, most of us would find this easily funny, and it is. And in Greece, Socrates was represented as comedy of the clouds. As ridiculous as it was, it made people laugh by provoking men of his age and poking fun at them. Such a comedy is essentially satiric, and in this sense. Roman author like Plautus or Terence, also Cornelius of France, who wrote comedies of satirize, and faults their age. While his idea was applicable of the French comedy in the 17th century, English comedy of the 18th century was versely changing due to Shakespeare's comedy. A great dramatist used this mode of creating laughter only as a mode of creation of humor, of a romantic comedy. The difference between these two types may be briefly indicated in this way. Classical comedy has a central purpose, an establishment of norm, by ridiculing anything that deviates from it, making fun of what you don't want to make fun of, your average life. Romantic comedy, on the other hand, is a diversification of life. We enjoy romantic loves of Orlando and Rosalind, the fantastic wit of Touchstone, and the melancholic humor of Jacques, as in the play As You Like It. Even though we deviate from the normality of these pieces, we often have sympathy for the characters in these plays, because oftentimes they're like us. Now, they might get themselves into different little situations, things that make us uncomfortable, but they do it for our laugh, because often enough it doesn't happen to us. At one time, a happy ending was considered essential for every comedy. The play has to end with a reconciliation of the two loves and their adventures and misadventures. They'd come together, and everyone was happy and wholesome. And, in general, it's a good assurance that your crowd will be happy. But modern comedy depends upon external action, but atmosphere and internal development as well. Greater stress is laid upon fantasies of the human mind, things that could never happen but do happen. And maybe they could happen, but they don't. It stands somewhat on a mental ground between comedy that is proper and a tragedy, and a fine line that separates those two. The type has deviated in more recent times into bizarre and grotesque plays. Some that are funny, and some that just make you turn your head and squint your eyes a little bit. Tired of the drab commonness of human situations in modern audiences, we play against those absurd plays. I'm pretty sure most of you have seen enough absurd movies in your time to make you laugh just a little bit. And that's what comedy has developed into. Now, we still have our comedic norms in life. Our day-to-day, our daily drag to school, and the goofy things that could happen. The wild scenarios that could happen while you're at school. Maybe your locker doesn't open, and when you go to open it, you pull it too hard, hit yourself in the face. It's something that could happen. It's an easy thing that could happen to any of us. Then you have your absurdities on the LRN. Crazy instances. I just want to give you a small example. When I was a freshman, Spirit Week, homecoming. Every day we have our class colors and whatnot. And at that point in time, I realized that life was a comedy. It's changed me forever. Now, I don't know if many of you remember Dylan Petsky. How could you forget? I'm a young freshman, just a little chap walking down the hall. And by the way, it's class colored. It's Spirit Day. And I'm walking down the hall, and no one's around me. I'm just kind of going through its passing time. And all of a sudden, in a big white sheet, I see Dylan Petsky. I don't know it's Dylan Petsky, but he's on a large white sheet. I can see he's painted his face, and he is running down the hallways. I am the school spirit. I have come to haunt VHS. He had taken a simple day and had completely changed it to something ridiculously absurd. Life is a comedy.